Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. In today's video we are going to make some fall decor with a Dollar Tree frame and a Dollar Tree pumpkin and a Dollar Tree placemat. So what we are going to do first is I'm going to set this aside. I did one earlier just to see how it turned out. So the first thing that we are going to do is we are going to take a frame, which I got from the Dollar Tree, and we are going to the frame itself looks like wood, but it doesn't look good. I mean, we got it from the Dollar Tree, so it doesn't look fancy. So I'm just going to add some white and orange paint to it, just spice it up a little bit, make it look somewhat decent. So we're just going to pop off this back because we're going to need the glass that's in it for our placemat. So we're going to take that back off. We're going to take the glass out. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take some white paint, and I'm not going to put a lot of it on there. I don't want the whole thing white. I still want some of the brown to shine through. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a paintbrush and I'm going to dry brush it just to give it a hint of white, and I'm going to do the same thing with the orange as well. Alright, so now that we have our frame done, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to set that aside. Now we are going to come and we are going to paint the pumpkin. Now this pumpkin I got from the Dollar Tree. Obviously it was a whole pumpkin, so what I did is I just sawed it in half, and even the stem that come with it, I cut that in half as well. That way we can place it on there. I want it to look three-dimensional, so I was able to create two. That's how I made the other one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a sanding block very gently, because you don't want to tear it up, and I'm just going to get these edges where I sawed, and I'm going to get those taken down. All right, so once you have this, now I'm going to go and I'm going to paint this whole pumpkin white. The first one took me about 2 coats to fully cover it because it doesn't have a lot of color to it. So I'm going to paint the full pumpkin white. All right, so now that we have the pumpkin painted white, we are going to let that dry. We will add some detail to it. That way it just doesn't look flat. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to apply the backing to the glass. And what I used is I found these fall placemats at the Dollar Tree. What I did is I just took out the stitching and removed this back, and I just cut it in half. I used 1/2 for that one, and then I'm going to use this half for this one. So what I did is I just took this, I turned this over, and I took this glass and I slid it in one of those areas where the seam was, and I just hot glued it to the glass, and that's exactly what I'm going to do on this one. So once you find where you want it, I'm going to take some hot glue. I'm just going to apply, and I'm just going to pull it down. And I'm going to do that all the way around the frame, and we're going to pop it back into the picture frame. All right, And that's what you have. So now we're gonna bring our picture frame back. And we're gonna put our glass back in. And we're gonna take our backing. And the great thing that I love about working with picture frames, and it already has a backing on it. Get it upside down. It already has a backing on it. So, I mean, I love it because you could just create something cute with it and then just set it up. You don't have to worry about trying to connect something to the back to make it stand up or hang on a wall. All right, so now there you have it, and it just stands up on its own. So now that we have that done, I'm gonna go ahead, while we're still waiting for our pumpkin to dry, I'm gonna create like this little messy bow that we have right here. And I just took some leftover ribbon that I had, and I just cut 2 strips. It's nothing fancy. Took 2 strips the same size. I took a little bit of raffia, pulled off a piece. I set that in the middle of one and then put the other one on top. Like I said, guys, this little contraption isn't fancy at all. And I just cut off another piece. That's what I'm going to tie the middle of the bow with. And so once I have that raffia in between, I'm just going to pinch these together until you have that. So I'm going to find the middle. I'm going to take this raffia that we cut off, and I'm just going to tie it directly down the middle. And there you have it, just like a little, I wouldn't even call it a bow. Okay, so what I did after that is I took these little strips on the side and I just cut like just messy strips in them. I wasn't really paying any mind to how big they were, making sure they were the same size. I just cut strips. I'm gonna do this to all 4 of the strips on this bow. All right, so here we have it. Just something small, something cute, nothing extreme. So we're gonna go ahead and set that aside. And now that our pumpkin is dried, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna add some brown and orange to it just to give it some dimension. So I'm just gonna take a paintbrush. I'm not gonna put a lot of paint on it. And my orange, I'm just gonna dry brush on it. All right, so now that we have the dimensions on the pumpkin, to eliminate some of the harsh lines, I'm gonna go back in with my brush. I'm not gonna put any more paint on it. I'm just gonna run it over and lessen the brown and the orange that are in the pumpkin to bring out some more of the white. All right, now that that's on there, our pumpkin is done, and then we will start assembling everything. All right, so now that we have everything together, one thing I am gonna do before we start gluing everything onto the frame is the colors are very bright, and the bow won't be able to stand out very well. I'm going to take my brush that has the white paint on it, and I'm just going to run over it and pull some of that color out so it's not so bright. All right, so now that we have that color on, now I want to take our pumpkin. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna hot glue the stem piece back onto the pumpkin, because I noticed with the other one, it's easier to put the stem on before you glue the pumpkin on. And so now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna put a whole bunch of glue on the bottom, or the part where you cut your pumpkin in half. I'm not gonna put it directly on the bottom because I'm gonna put some raffia. I'm gonna set it down. I'm just gonna hold it there for a second. Once we have that on, I am gonna apply a little bit of glue on the top of that stem so it doesn't go anywhere. I'm gonna take this bow and where I tied it right here, I'm just gonna apply some hot glue, and I'm gonna place it in the middle above the pumpkin. I'm gonna hold it there for a second and let it dry. All right, now I'm gonna take some raffia and I'm just gonna tear off a piece and I'm just gonna glue it to the bottom of the pumpkin. I am gonna take my scissors and just trim it off that picture frame a little bit. And what I want to do is I want to cover this part where we tied. So at the Dollar Tree, they have out their glittered balls. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a green one. I just took some pliers, and what I did is I just pinched it and pulled off the bottom part of that foam. I added hot glue to it, and I just popped it directly on the middle and held it there until it was dry. All right, and there you have it. We have two super cute fall decor that we're gonna put up in the house to add to the rest of the fall decor. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you enjoy it, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Make sure you like this video and comment below. Let me know how you like it so we can interact together. I appreciate everybody for watching it. I will be back. I am going to place these in a different angle so y'all can see them set up. Y'all have a wonderful day.